Hi everyone, this is Abs from Abs Cycling Adventures. Today I'm going to show you how to repair a puncture the correct way with a few key points not to overlook. So first take your lever, you pop it in, lock it off. Take your next one, pop it in again, and from there all you do is you just pushing forward. Just keep pushing all the way through. Keep pushing, and that's it. Your tire is off. Now if you have trouble doing it that way, pop one in and then open little bits at a time, and then when you can you push through, and that's it. That's the easiest, quickest way to take off a tire. So take the tube out, just like this, pull it out. So now what some people do is they find the puncture, they repair it, they pop it back in, and they follow it to where it happened, and they have a little look around to see if there's anything stuck or lodged and remove it. What I would advise you to do is, tip number one is take your tire off entirely. If you have trouble just taking it off, take one of your levers and just gently pry it a little bit, and then you can just literally pull it off. Turn the whole tire inside out, like so. Doesn't take long. If you're in a ride, if you're in a competition, I understand you don't have the time, but when you do have the time, please follow this step so you won't get repeated punctures. I've seen people fix their tire, replace it or fix it and put it in, and a few minutes down the road they got another puncture because they didn't take out what was stuck in the tire that punctured it in the first place. So what you do, you just feel around, you go around all the way around. Careful you don't cut your hands, because if it's something sharp it will cut your hands. If there's something lodged, then you'll feel it, you find it, you remove it, and then all you do is you reverse it back. Now, this is the way I'll do it, because if you follow the other method of finding where the puncture was and just feeling around there, then the actual thing that punctured your tube could have dislodged and travelled anywhere further down the tire, so it could be anywhere. Best to just turn it around and find the thing and then remove it. Back to the puncture, get your pump, put some air in it, and then just feel around with your hands, or put it next to your face. Where the puncture is, you'll feel it, the air coming out. Or if you can't, then get yourself a bucket of water, put it in the water, you'll see the bubbles coming out. Here I've located the puncture, put a little mark on there, and then what you do is you take your standard puncture repair kit, one of these. I prefer this over the self-adhesive quick stick-on ones. They don't really stick on that well. I've not had good experience with these. This is the one I prefer. So then you got your sandpaper, give it a good scratch. The more you scratch, the better it'll stick. And then you get your glue. Now this is point number 2, which you must follow, is when you put the glue on. It's a new puncture kit, I haven't actually opened it. When you put the glue on, put a generous amount of glue. Now what you must do is when you put the glue on, you must wait at least a minute for it to dry. If you stick it on straight away, it won't stick. You just slide around, you'll be holding it for minutes and you won't get anywhere. So let it stay for about a minute. It will start to dry up, and that's when it gets really sticky, and that's when you put on your patch. So now I've waited about a minute. I'm going to take my patch, peel the foil off, and stick it right on. Hold it down for a minute or so if you can. As you can see, I've done quite a few repairs on this tube. So after you stuck it down, what you do is you just peel off the film gently. Just do one bit first, and then just do the rest like that. Tip number 4, take your pump, put in a bit of air, inflate the tire a little bit, pop it back in that way. You're ensuring that you're not going to get any twists or turns in the tube. It's going in right. Just all the way in. There you have it, your tyres. The tube is back in. Go back in, making sure not to pinch your tube, because you can get punctures that way. I've done it in the past where I've caught the tube and I've punctured it as I was putting it back in. So be careful you don't catch that. And then just go gently all the way along. Most of it you can do with your hand. And when you get to the end, make sure you release the air and then pop it back in. Just like that. You can use both if you need, or you can just use one. As you get closer, sometimes you need the both. But this is a really good tyre, goes on really nicely. If your tyre is a bit stubborn and it's new and it doesn't go in, then you need to apply a bit more pressure to get it in. Okay, so finally you're going to put in some air, pump your tyre up. Best to use a hand to floor pump so you can get 100 psi. And just to recap all the key crucial points, tip number 1, make sure you take off your tyre totally, turn it inside out, find the debris, find the thing that punctured your tyre, locate it, get rid of it, and then put your tyre back on. That way you won't get repeated punctures. As I've said, people have changed their tube or fixed their puncture and not gone far, had another puncture because they didn't remove that thing that punctured the tyre in the first place. Tip number 2, crucial point, is when you put on the glue, don't put on your patch straight away because it won't stick. You'll just be holding it, it'll be sliding around, you won't get anywhere. Let it set for about a minute at least and then stick it on. Tip number 3, always line up your brand with your valve so you know exactly where it is in the dark, or anytime you want to put in air, anytime you want to take it out, you know exactly where it is because it's just where your brand is. Very important tip. And then lastly, tip number 4, not as important, but when you put in your tube back in, make sure you give it a little air so it goes in nice and straight. There's no twist on turns in it. That way you won't catch it when you're putting it back in. Just go ahead and do it. Keep practicing and you'll get better at it, and you do it quicker and quicker. Please like and subscribe. More videos to follow, more maintenance on your bike, and more adventures. Next video I'm going to do is probably how to clean your cassette without any chemicals or degreasers, which I've already done. I'll do it again just to show everybody how it's done, and it comes out really nice and clean, and you won't need any degreaser or any chemicals. All you're going to need is a few things you'll have around the house anyway, I guarantee you. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.